Peace, folks. This is X from TPOT Media. Open your mind and wake your black ass up. You know what time it is. Hit that damn like button as you make your way in the door. Grab a seat, settle in, get ready. It's the Grown Man Hour with your host, my man, Bernard Riley.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
So, what product on the market gains value with age and use?
Age and use? But we're not objects, though.
Okay,
It's-
let's see. You didn't.
it's hard to have-
Okay. That's. We can do it that way, but see, you're not being. That's the disingenuous answer.
I don't think it's just in
Okay.
But
Okay. You understand. Regardless, don't get stuck on the word product. You understand the sentiment.
Of course.
So what on the market gains value with age and use?
If you guys know something in the comments, please feel free.
The answer is nothing.
All right. I love that thing. I love that. I put those graphics together, had to hook that up. What's up, everybody? What's going on? What is going on? Shout out to each and every one of you. Definitely about to get into this. Welcome aboard. What is the topic today? I almost forgot. Let me shout out a couple of people as we get going. Shout out to Andre. Shout out to holding my testicles. Shout out to you. Shout out to Mr. Snazzy. Shout out to Hoop Jargon in the building. Shout out to you. Shout out to Joe Ethereal. Shout out to you, Hoop Jargon says, feels weird with the lives again. Yes, the lives, they, like I said, don't hold me to it, but they might be back. They might be making a comeback. I'm trying to incorporate both of them. I've been trying to do that lightweight for a long time, but I think I finally developed the methods, strategies, and ways to stay consistent with doing them both. So we'll see how that goes. We'll definitely see how that goes. Shout out to RM. Shout out to Patrick St. James. Shout out to where we at? I know I saw somebody else. Indigo Flow right down there at the bottom. Shout out to each and every one of you. All right, today we're about to get into something. into something that I have talked about quite a bit. And I see videos periodically to let me know that I need to talk about this some more. What am I talking about? What am I talking about? Well, the good folks over at 8 at the Table are going to help us out with this one. So let's strap on in, hit that like button. Let's get ready to go. Let's get it.
Never been the same since I had a child. So for someone to tell me that after I just pushed out a human being, had a fucking blood transfusion, I'm going through so many emotional changes.
Hold up. Okay, I didn't want to do this right out the start. I crack my jokes, I roast people, but I mostly like to stick on the merits of what's going on. But yeah, let's say I can't get that out of my head. What's that Ludacris song? Is that what's that Ludacris song when he's talking about rolling? Roll, damn. Get your no, I'm thinking of somebody else. I think that's Cash Money. Get your roll on. Everybody get your roll on. Roll out. That's what I'm trying to think of, that Ludacris. Roll out. Her roll out. All right. We gotta behave ourselves. She rolling in the deep. All right. Let's behave ourselves. Too early in the video for that. But all right, we gotta get into the topic. Gotta get into it. All right.
And
You think that
you think I give a fuck about my body? I'm grateful for what I got from my child. I'm grateful for the
regulate her brain.
I'm trying to get right because now I have someone that I'm going to continue to be responsible for the rest of my fucking life, and all I want is a little bit of support.
Now, she could listen. She can have that statement that she ain't worried about her body after a baby. She worrying about the health of the baby and blah 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 blah. But you still choose to wear that outfit. I mean, you cannot if that's where you want to go with it, to not prioritize your body and physical appearance after a pregnancy. That's if that's what you want to do, whatever. You still don't got to wear that dress, or that part is a choice. That part is a choice. But but let's keep going, because I didn't come here to talk about that. I just looked at that, and I just saw her rolling in the deep, and I saw her getting her roll on. Roll out. But I just saw that, and then it threw me off. But let's stay focused. Let's stay focused.
You know what Aaron usually
says? But guess what
everybody
wants to do? Walk the fuck out. You want to walk out because it's too hard for you, because you can't sit here and just ease my pain or coddle the fucking child while I'm sad, because I just went through all of this walking around and wobbling and pushing out a fucking child, maybe got cut up, and you can't even just sit the fuck down for a second and just understand that I'm going through a change and I'm in pain right now, and every man is too fucking weak to stay there. You got to walk out. You know how many fucking men have walked out of their kids' lives because of that? A woman should not make you leave your child.
That is the part that I want to talk about. That right there. That part right there. As you're going to see for the rest of this conversation that they're having right there, they're going to look at every situation where two people were together, they had a kid, and now these two people are not together anymore. Every one of those situations constitutes in their mind a man walked out on his family. He walked out, he left. She was clinging on to his leg. He was dragging, her and the kids, clinging on to the ankle, and he just trying to free himself from their grasp so he can go get in his car and drive off with his trash bag that he left with. That's how they depict it every single time. I've always asked this question: did he leave you and the kids, or did you leave him and take the kids with you? The thing about that, the reason that is an important question, that whenever I ask a woman that question, they start beatboxing, they give a very strange answer. Because like I've said before, when their relationship goes, bucket list is complete, and they're married and they got their family, they got everything they wanted, everything they ever wanted, they still file for a divorce 70-80% of the time. I've had divorce lawyers come on my show and argue that it's actually higher, just sometimes the man file because he's the one paying for it. So they actually say it's more like 90. So even when their relationship goes, bucket list is complete, they still file 90, 70, 80, 90, it's anywhere from 70 to 90% of the time. So we know good and well when it's just a baby daddy situation, baby mama, baby daddy situation, that they are facilitating those breakups. But they get to come on their couches and talk about the breakup as if it's 100% a man leaving them, as if he got Thanos snapped when the relationship ended. That man has an address, he has a house that he pays bills at. I'm gonna keep banging this drum till I start hearing more people say this sentence right here, that it's not that the father is not in the home. That father has a home. The problem is that the mother and the child is not in the home. Until they start telling us the stories of how the mother and the kid was banging on the door that he lives at, that he's paying bills at, to get back into that house, and then he drop kicked her in the throat. Until I hear that story, I don't buy the man, he just walking out, he broken families because the man just walking out. But this guy, this guy right there with the shades and the dookie braids. Okay, that from the 90s, you know what I'm talking about. I don't even know if that's how his hair is. I just gave him some Jada Pinkett from Menace to Society braids. I don't know if that's what's going on up there. This guy normally does a good job, a very competent job talking to the sisterhood when they get on their nonsense. He normally does a competent job. This one wasn't his best showing. I'm shocked that he clipped it and put this out there because he made the mistake of accepting their premise. And with most of the arguments that they make to try to inception men with being sympathetic to their plight, so you will overvalue them and put less value on yourself and make bad decisions based off that, 9 times out of 10, when you reject the premise and then start clean, you will arrive at different conclusions the majority of the time. Well, let's go.
Rico, we would not even be having this conversation if men were present. If they wanted to be present, they would be present. We would not be having this conversation.
If they wanted to be present, they would be present. As if women are 100% arms open and 100% at all times want to be with the person that they had kids with. Women never break up with this man for whatever reason. It may be a good reason sometimes. Sometimes it might be. Sometimes it may be a stupid reason. But we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that.
No, we're not going with that.
In these households, we wouldn't have so many broken men. We wouldn't have so many broken people. The fact that
it was a man in the background saying, "Hey, this time I agree with Jada. Joe Ethereal, get out of there." And I don't care. Okay, yeah, okay, he got locks. I didn't care. That didn't matter. I never even paid attention to his hair. Joe Ethereal was saying he looking extra zesty. Let's not do what the women do, how they bend over backwards to try to call any man zesty for no reason at all. All I got to do is say something they disagree with, and I've gotten called that just from disagreeing with them. My opinion was zesty. I mean, let's not get into that. Let's not get into that. But shout out to you. Salute. KG in the building says, why would any man be present with a woman who doesn't respect him, submit, or does her job around the house? I hear what you're saying, but you're making the argument that falls in line with the argument that he's going to make that implies that the men are just getting up and leaving and walking out. My argument is that when the relationship ends, 2 people have a kid, they are not married. By law in Michigan, the mother is the presumed custodial parent. That man cannot have legal custody or legal rights or legal anything over the kids until he takes legal action against her. So when that relationship ends, it is automatically her child. So the $1 million question is, Not why did he abandon his family? No, who ended that relationship? You asked that question. August night. Stop cap. Yeah. Stop cap. I got to get that clip. I got to clip that part and that part alone of her just saying, stop cap. If you watching the last live stream or the last uploaded clip, you know exactly what we're talking about there. Those are the $1 million questions. Who ended that relationship? Who ended that relationship? If she ended that relationship, then she ended the family. She broke up the family. She walked out on the home. Even if it was a situation where the house they was living in was technically her house, you shouldn't be doing that. She shouldn't be living in a woman's house. Either way it go. Even if he's the one who physically moved out, if she ended the relationship, then it was her. It wasn't him. This brother here, like I said, he normally does a competent job talking to those chicks, which I know gives him a headache. And pretty soon, I'm giving it another year of him doing that. His dreadlocks are going to be on life support like Stevie Wonder's dreadlocks, you know, with all the meat just falling off the bone. That's going to happen to his dreadlocks if he keep having these conversations. Because, you know, Stevie Wonder got like one dreadlock up there. It's like Dreadlock Island on like the you know, the back of his head. That's what's going to happen to this man. But he normally do a competent job in these conversations. This time, he never asked the most important question. So we'll get slightly annoying. But we're going to get through this.
That we have to have this conversation surrounded around not present fathers.
Thank you.
The fact that we have so many people incarcerated, we have so many people that have been raised by just women, we have so many.
The incarceration thing, it's not the thing that they think it is. It's not. It's a factor in the equation, but not nearly as big of a factor as what they make it out to be. Statistically, it's not that many black men in prison, like serving 10 to 20 year prison sentences. That's not a thing. That 1 out of 3, that's talking about, you know, that's not talking about people serving long prison sentences. It's not talking about that. I'll have to get into details and research that. But 1 out of 3 comes in contact with the criminal justice system or something like that. I'll make sure I got it exactly right on that. I'll make sure because that ain't my strong suit area. Talking about black, you know, black male incarceration. That's not my strong suit. So I'll pump the brakes on that. But the time that I did look it up and did get into it, it was not the monster that they make it out to be. It was a time in like the late 80s, early 90s or mid 90s. Shout out to the Biden crime bill. You know, it was a time when it was a there, but it ain't like that. It ain't statistically lining up like that.
Many people who are hurting because their dads were not present, and the fact that you can say, oh, they're hurting, fuck, they're hurting. Go be present. Go take care of your child. Go help this woman that you probably left.
Do they, when you say go be present, go take care of your child, is she talking about go get back with that woman? Is she talking about that? Educated Tyrone says the 1 in 3 number is correct, but 1 in 3 what? 1 in 3 prison, 1 in 3 jail, 1 in 3 contact with the criminal justice system, 1 in 3 currently in jail. You know, if it's 1 in 3, I fall in that. I'm the squarest guy on earth. I fall in that. I mean, I got a DUI before. I had to spend a night in jail. And it was a time when I was about 20 years old. I was riding dirty, and well, you know, yeah, my plate was bad. I told this story before. My plate was bad. And I didn't have proof of insurance. You know, they asked for driver's license, registration, proof of insurance. I was 1 out of 3. So yeah, I got taken in, had to pay a little bit of money, and then walked right back out. So that 1 in 3 contact with the criminal justice system, that don't really mean nothing. It really don't. You know? So no, but they use that as, 1 in 3 black men have served hard time in prison. Like, no. That's not it. But all right, let's go.
While she was in postpartum, which is the hardest thing to fucking deal with. There's no excuse for that. You created a human being and you're gonna tell me, oh, I feel bad, I miss my child.
You don't feel
That's
that
the
bad.
weakest, wackest shit I've ever heard in my life.
What we're not gonna do.
Yes.
When they're talking about the guy who just full blown just on some just fuck it type stuff, there is a point there that she could make. There is a point there that she can make, but she's framing this as men walking out on their families, men abandoning their kids. And I'm pretty sure she's abandoning those. She's defining abandoning those kids as the man not being in the home. She just said that, in the home, because wherever the mother lay her hat is the home. If she's defining it as that, that is the flaw, the forever and always flaw that has been in the logic ever since the 70s, when they start talking about black fathers not being in the home. That has been the flaw in the logic. And we have not overcome or adequately addressed that flaw in the logic that states that when two people with a child break up, the relationship ends, that means the father abandoned the child. No, it means they broke up. And if she's the one who did the breaking up, he didn't leave her and the kids. She left him and took the kids with her. Like, that's what happens.
Yes, we are.
We're not gonna do is we're not gonna allow you to sit here and we're not gonna allow you to sit here and give women an out as if they don't make it difficult for men to even be in I didn't talk while you talk. Matter of fact, give me the mic. Look,
I told y'all these conversations is gonna have his dreadlocks looking like Stevie Wonder's in 2 years. Guarantee. Guarantee. By next year, he gonna have 3 dreadlocks. In 2 years, he just gonna have 1 dreadlock. 1.
Look.
You gonna make feedback, maybe.
So what we're not gonna do is give women an out and make it seem like women don't make it difficult for some men.
I gotta make this screen smaller. I'm just getting distracted by her. She just shouldn't have wore that dress with the roll out. All right. She just shouldn't have wore that dress. Roll out.
And to see their kids. There are men who try hard as hell to see their kids, and that woman is just a pity, envious, mad, hurt woman.
I agree. Can I say something?
No, you can't. Well, I'm not done. Right? So, like, we gotta also think, like, all right, cool. Some men feel like, first of all, I don't even get the chance.
Okay, GC, I know, I get that you're acknowledging the under tit, but you got to look at what's under the under tit. All right. When you got a roll under the under tit, the under cleavage, that makes the under tit look like another roll. It just all look like you can't have under tit when you got your roll out. All right. Yeah. She rolling in the deep. Get your roll on. Everybody get your fucking roll on. All right.
I don't have the resources to even win my child over. If a mother decides that she's not going to allow that father to see the child for whatever reason, because she got
right. We're trying to stay on the merits, but I you're right. Her posture is poor. Like, they got that professional set up. You know, it just seems like it would be just somebody on a production team that would make eye contact with her off camera and then do like one of these right here. You know, do one of these right here, like gesture to her to like sit up. And then, you know, it's like somebody should be gesturing to her that she needs to sit up. It's like they shouldn't have just left her out there like that, you know. Help a sister out. You know, y'all see she's slipping. She's slipping on her pimping. She didn't, well, she probably don't care. But I'm just assuming she didn't want to be, you know, presented in that way. I'm just assuming. But Joe Ethereal in the building with the $50 cash app. I do appreciate it. I do appreciate it. You coming on through hard and heavy handed with the $50 cash. I appreciate it. Appreciate everybody who supports the stream each and every one of you, each and every one of you. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you hit the like button. But all right, let's get into it. He says, instead of complaining about the problem, my solution is a private transport business so that the father's visitation with their kids, everything is recorded, including no shows. That's already technically a thing. Instead of complaining about the problem, my solution is a private transport. Oh, no. I see what you're saying. A private transport business. You mean somebody to come and pick the child up. Well, here's the problem with that. If the woman objects to the private transport business, like she can object to anything and he can go fight through the system and he can end up like, he can go through the process and then get, every other weekend and Wednesday through Friday from 5 to 8 and pay child support. Like every guy could technically get that. But does that solve the problem of absent Black fathers? Does that solve the problem of fathers in the home? Because like if that's what she's arguing for every other weekend, Wednesday from 5 to 8, then she's arguing for uncle dad parenting time. So all the postpartum stress and everything that she's talking about, that is null and void. I don't think she still is dealing with the kid mostly by herself if the dad has uncle dad parenting time. Therefore, it's obviously that she is talking about the mother and the father of the child being together, staying together, and working it out. And that brings me to the biggest fallacy, the biggest flaw in her argument is that the suggestion, the notion, the idea that just because two people are not together, that automatically by default means that the father abandoned his family. That part is nonsense, because whenever you trace the origin of these situations, you find out that she wanted that relationship to end likely more than what he did. And she facilitated the ending, just like they facilitate the divorces. So that's that. But yeah, every guy can go down there and fight to get, his every other weekend, Wednesday from 5 to 8. You can, yeah. The uncle dad parenting time is available. But is that what we want? Is that what, is that what's needed? Is that, that's nonsense. I would like to start at a place where the default was 1 week on, 1 week off, automatic. And if somebody don't want their week, they need to go down there and unsign up for their week and then let it default to either the uncle dad parenting time or just default to just nothing at all or whatever. But I want 1 week on, 1 week off. And the messed up part about this is that when dudes go down there and fight for 50-50 custody, 1 week on, 1 week off, just like with Jenny Mai, just like with every situation that we see, every public situation that you see, you can see the woman fighting against the man getting joint custody, joint legal and joint physical custody. At every turn, they will fight against that. But then they will turn around and complain about not having the support or complain about, father involvement. But when men fight, they fight against it. Like, that's crazy. That is the ultimate child support. That is, you can't ask for better support than that, than 50-50. Anybody that went through a divorce knows this. When you try to get 50-50, that woman fights against it. Those kids, you've been raising those kids since they were born. You try to go in and fight for 50-50. That woman who knows you're a good father, even if you were a bad husband, she know you a good father, and you want 1 week with you, 1 week with her for the kids. She will fight against you. Guarantee the chick that's right there on that couch complaining, the one that's sitting right there complaining with her, let me move this comment, the one sitting there complaining with her roll out, I guarantee if the guy that she's complaining about filed a motion for 1 week on, 1 week off, 50-50 joint custody, joint legal, joint physical custody, 1 week with me, 1 week with you, I guarantee, bet anything, she will fight him tooth and nail to not let him get that. Which means in the eloquent words of Ebony K. Williams, they need to stop cap. Guarantee. Bet anything. I got to get that clip. I got to get that part clipped.
Got mad because he didn't buy diapers that 1 week. Now he has to go 2 weeks. And it's like women be using kids as pawns. Women.
Now, what he's saying is true right there. If you don't have that uncle dad parenting time that they try to limit you to when you try to get half, or that you have to fight for to make, you end up in that situation where it's at her discretion. And when it's 100% at her discretion, when you don't got a schedule, but you just try to show up when you want to show up, even if you're showing up a lot, they will still try to manipulate that. It's normally not an open door whenever you want them policy. Just call in advance. It's typically not like that. It's typically like what he said. And I don't even like to go down this route. And that's why I said he didn't do the best of job arguing against them, because it gets in an unquantifiable state at this point where we're saying that, oh, well, she's doing stuff. Well, you didn't give me some money, so I'm not letting you see them. Or you didn't buy some diapers, I'm not letting you see them. That happens. But the biggest flaw in what she's saying is what she is explaining what more or less happens as far as the breakups, where she's claiming that any breakup means the man walked out on his family, even though the woman likely and quite often facilitates that breakup.
Be holding their baby hostage and then putting the man through the ringer and then thinking the man's supposed to persevere through years of this dumbass abuse and then think that he's going to be present. At some point, a man is going to be like, yo, I quit. Now, is it wrong? Yeah, for the kid. But is it wrong for the woman to push that on the father and then have the kid suffer? Yes, they're both wrong.
Can I ask one question? Just a follow-up. When the father can't purchase those diapers,
yeah,
what is the baby wearing?
Because she's going to make it happen regardless.
What if she don't have them?
Mama's going to make it happen regardless.
But it's the thing, though. Again, women are awarded babies at birth. It doesn't even matter. So now we were to say, okay, cool, we completely erase that.
I have an example. So this goes back to what she was saying about the reason why we're even talking about this is because it does happen. The other day on a podcast with Van Lathan and Rachel Lindsay, they were talking about, well, they had Larry Elder on, and he's running for as a presidential candidate as a Republican, and I guess his platform, or a huge part of his platform, is fatherless homes and fathers not being around for their children. And I think the fact that it's even a talking point lends itself to it actually being an issue. Because if it wasn't an issue, I mean, let's be real, nobody would be talking about it.
All right. If she's going to quote Larry Elder in there, now Larry Elder, he don't necessarily do the best of job. Well, I mean, no, he does. He does a great job at what he does. There's a part of it that I feel like he, leaves out a little bit. But overall, his argument is, and, he takes his shots at the Democratic Party with that, is that, all the policies that, it basically incentivizes women to marry the state and removes the responsibility from the father. That's his argument. The Democratic policies ultimately result in the state being in between that man and that woman working it out. That's essentially his argument. And those incentives have been going on for a while, where they're incentivized and subsidized to basically be more readily able and likely to do, like what I'm saying, facilitate that breakup when things go south or things just go bad in a relationship. That's more or less what happens. And it's certain policies that make it easier for that. So it goes back to the question I'm going to keep asking, did he leave you and the kids, or did you leave him and take the kids with you? A big part of the reason why some of them are more readily able and available and likely to leave him and take the kids with her, because all of those things, all of those advantages and incentives and all the subsidizing that they get after they do it. So yeah, a world that's made easy for women to function and thrive without men, is no surprise that they're more readily able and available and likely to make a decision to where they're going to thrive with just them and their kid, or survive, exist with them and their kids without the man who they made the kids with. They're ultimately breaking up the family. But we don't address it, acknowledge it, as the woman is breaking up the family. No matter what happened, how it happened, is viewed and talked about like the man is automatically the one who did it. Shout out to VD Chantley in the building. He said the angry man had a good idea of recording the emotional damage of children because the mother refuses to allow him to see the children, then take it to the lawyer after 3 record events. I think you mean 3 recorded events. Yeah. Oh no, it's a, trust me, I know. You gotta have a paper trail. You do. Ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You gotta have a paper trail. You gotta have recordings. You gotta have pictures with with date cameras, with the month, date, year, and all that. In the background, in the corner, in the lower right hand corner of the picture, you gotta do everything. Trust me, I know. And I wouldn't know baby daddy. I was an ex-husband, and I had to pull out all the stunts and all the tricks, and it took 3 years for me to get a custody arrangement on paper that I liked, which was really a custody arrangement on paper that matched what was already happening in reality, because I ain't trying to get into that. It's a whole nother story. Whole nother story.
Let's think about it like avocados. The only way we be talking about avocados is if the price went up, is if a flood or something, or some natural disaster came and messed up the world's crop. You know, like that's the only reason we're talking about it. That's the only reason it's top of mind, because something actually is going on with avocados. You know, so back to Jada's point.
Nobody's denying that something is going on. Your analysis of what is going on is missing a major key component.
The only reason that this is even a point of discussion is because the only reason it's a point of discussion is because it happens, and it happens frequently enough such that a lot of people are impacted.
And I said this, mind you, I said this at 8 at the table 4 years ago. Now niggas be running with this stat. I remember I texted Alan when I found out that America is literally 3 times the amount of single parent households across the entire world on average.
Bruh, you ain't the one that started this quoting stat stuff. Now it's people there. He said 4 years ago. Nah, it was plenty of people plenty of people on that game long before him. It's like oh, come on now. We know who brought the stats into the game. All right, we know where that started. That started deep in the roots of the belly of the beast of the black manosphere. There's just no other way around that. Everybody else was talking feelings and emotions. It wasn't until the black men showed up breaking down the stats, the facts, the numbers, and now everybody is talking about stats and facts and all of that. Started this stat shit. Yeah, no, we know the deal. What's up, GC? I watched a good portion of your stream, and that's all I'll say. The individual who your stream was about is one of the people, along with BGS and, Obsidian, BGS, and a lot of other people, back in, 2015, 2017, were the ones who really start breaking down these stats. And everybody's talking about all these stats right now on their live stream. That's to me, that's really where it started. I mean, you probably can nitpick or find somebody else who was doing it. Maybe Tommy. Tommy like the Simpsons. He did. Tommy Sotomayor did it. Looks like that. Simpsons did it. It's like so yeah. Tommy Sotomayor is like the Simpsons. So maybe he did. I'm pretty sure. But but no, that's where that started. That's where that started. Speaking of a breakdown, it really started with the 70% OOW out of wedlock stat that came about probably 15 years ago. No. I'm talking about black men using their podcasts or YouTube or social media platforms, breaking down the stats to debunk all the false narratives and myths and emotional rants that a lot of women have, peppered everybody with for a long time. I'm talking about that. I'm not talking about when stats come into existence. Stats been statin since stats been statin. I'm talking about when men start using their platforms to break it down, and it changed the whole lexicon, tone, and just the way that people have these conversations, because somebody, men got on their social media platforms and some of the bullhorns got real big and real loud, and now it was some counter arguments put out there that can't be denied. So yeah, I'll say that. I guess in a roundabout way, I'm given what's going on with Obsidian, where it's looking like his channels is gone. I guess I'm, giving him some flowers on what got to be no doubt a sad day for him. But yeah. But, all right, getting back into it.
The rest of the world averages, I think, 8%, and we average 24% of kids growing up in a single parent household. Only here. First of all, the deadbeat thing is like, especially like the numerics of stats are nowhere near accurate. That's one. Two, what we should do is bring men here who didn't, or who either chose not to be, or who had to go through the ringer, and then the world will know the truth. We need to stop running with this narrative of what we think because of how we feel. The only reason why I speak on it is because I know these men on both sides. The only reason why I speak on it is because I know these men on both sides. I spoke to him on both sides.
Contradicting yourself.
Well, it's the exact same thing.
That's what I said. That's what I did.
For the men and women she knows. I'm speaking for the men and women I know, which is why I'm genuinely confused by what you're saying. And she's speaking for the men. Alan, matter of fact, Alan, who isn't agreeing, he's calling you an anomaly, is saying based on his experience.
But really,
what they're trying to say is based on their experience, that it's I believe what they're trying to say, excuse me, that based on their experience is men walking off. Like, if you let women tell the story, then yes, that's what the story is. He abandoned me, he left me and the kids. That's the story if you just listen to what women say. When I talk to men, and a man myself who's been in that fire, it's normally not like that. The question that he was supposed to be asking her, and all the women on the panel that's giving him all the pushback, did you leave him and the kids, or did he leave you and the kids, or did you leave him and take the kids with you? That is the $1 million question. I guarantee if he asked them that question, they will not give a firm answer. He left me and the kids. Guarantee. You ask them that question, they're going to have to give you some paragraphs that are going to amount to the fact that she left. Now, shout out to Game Changer, who's putting in there the, Obsidian's line. Cuts! All right. I wasn't a big fan of you. Wasn't a big fan of you doing that. Damn it, I don't even want to get into this. I listened to your stream and I was disappointed but not shocked when she said that it was men who she defined as red pill who gave her information that helped her to land the final blow, the death blow, the kill shot on Obsidian's channel. She said it was other people. It was other women that he had beef with in the past. It was all, and yes, like I said before, in that situation with her, he was clowning. And yes, he brought it on himself from everything I could see outside looking in. Haven't talked to Obsidian since July of 2022. So outside looking in, it do look like he did do some stuff to help bring that situation upon himself. However, I was not shocked. I was not surprised. Well, I say I was shocked. I was shocked, but not surprised. It's weird. It's a weird range of emotion I had when she said that it was men who she defined as red pill in, about, around, and associated to the black manosphere that aided her in giving YouTube the information that they needed to where from a black and white objective standpoint, they could take down his channel. It's like I've been saying for a while, ever since. So it was ever since it started getting all propped up in this space, where men in, around, and connected to this space. I'm not even talking about the detractors. I'm talking about people who've been basically in it. Started popularizing content more so of, it became more fashionable in the black manosphere to criticize men who criticize women than what it was to have a critique of women. Basically, the people that go after black men in the black manosphere and build their platform, their whole presence, their whole chat room presence, basically they're just criticizing black men who make true statements about black women. Like that's what a lot of people in this space have turned into, which means they have turned into everything that the black manosphere set out to destroy. It's not that much of a surprise that the person who did take down Obsidian, even though he was clowning and even though he was going way too far with a lot of stuff when concerning that. Lot of stuff. Like I was like, what the hell is he doing? But either way it go, it was black men who she defined as red pill misogynist who helped her take him down. Like, you got to let that one sink in. I remember I did a stream where I made, this was a thumbnail that I did before, Black Manosphere, black men, and people thought I was talking about, like simps and the simps and the panderers and all of that. No, I was talking about people who are in the goddamn space. Like that, yeah, that is terrible. That is terrible. So do black men protect black women? Goddamn. Yeah. So that is ridiculous. And I say that as somebody who, I haven't talked to Obsidian in a long time, and I, it's Obsidian have done some things that I can't stand by, won't stand by, and I, when he I said before, when he do all his crazy stuff, I don't want to be standing next to him when he do the crazy stuff. I said that. Unfortunately, I'm not standing next to him right now. Fortunately. My channel could be gone. So all of that is true. All of that is true that he was clowning. Messaging, DMing that chick boyfriend and posting pictures, and it was some stuff he did that was just some outright just hell no. Hell, like what is he doing? It was some stuff he was doing that I was like, he's playing with fire. No doubt about that. But dudes rallying around a black feminist who basically said, who literally said that those guys over there, they want to knock black women down a peg. And in my opinion, I think none of that should be allowed on this platform, which means that it wasn't even necessarily, it was the personal stuff that was the catalyst of how she was able to get him. It was the personal stuff that was the catalyst. However, from just a pure ideological standpoint, just like she didn't want him there, she don't want you there. She don't want she don't want none of us on here. So to align with her, it's like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, Obsidian be clowning, but you gonna team up with her? In the words, something the Game Changer said before, you if you team up with the what was the quote? You guys have to help me, GC. It was like, you team up with the Sith to overthrow the Jedi or overthrow the Republic. They're gonna kill you after after they take down the Republic. They're gonna kill you next. It's like what the hell you doing? What the hell you doing? But all right, let me get to these super chats and then get back into it. But shout out to GC. Thanks for putting $2 on it.
Last $2. I'm not gonna lose.
You know, even though you don't like Obsidian, you still was fair. You took some jabs and some jokes. I mean, some of your jokes wasn't fair. Some of your jabs wasn't fair, but your analysis of the situation, I do think you tried to do a fair, objective job, and you called her on her nonsense too. But all right. Deadly Raver in the building says, "What's up, BR? V-Day approaches, and since I'm not spending this cash on dates, have a $5 to grab some popcorn to watch the approaching chaos." Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Do appreciate. All right. Let's get back into it. But no, stuff is wild out here.
Realistically, when we look at it right now, it's like, all right, there's been more men fighting to get, like, for example, I actually found this stat out, and I hate doing this with the stat, but it said that, you know how they say the narrative about black men not being present, right? And this was on TikTok, and I forgot exactly what it was, but I do know that it was over 70% of black men are there present for their father, for their kids. Whether or not they see him every week, they at least speak to them 2 to 3 times a week, right? It was like 7.
I know what stat he's talking about. I don't like that stat. One, it was a self-reported study. I don't like self-reported studies. 2, the biggest problem with that is that it was a stat that said the black fathers are the best fathers of all. Even though I do like good press for black men, I'm like, how can they be the best if the mother and the child are not in the home? Notice I didn't say if the father is not in the home, because he has a home. He has an address that he pay bills at. So I don't say the father's not in the home. The mother and the child is not in the home. So it's like, how can he be the best if the mother is taking the child away from him when that breakup happens? That's, in many cases, it was her that wanted to break up, whether it was the marriage or just a relationship. So it's like parenting with, if they're saying that black men do the best job at parenting with one arm tied behind their back, then okay, that's great. But the problem is the one arm tied behind their back. If they're saying black men do the best job parenting when it's like, you know, cool uncle parenting time, uncle dad parenting time, cool uncle access to the kids, if they do the best in those conditions, well, you know, it's still the biggest problem is that black men and black women, if we're talking about the best outcomes for kids, now I'm not talking about what black men need to do with their personal life and personal life choices and aspirations and all of that, blah, blah, blah. I'm talking about, if we're talking about best outcomes for the kids, if they truly want to have a conversation about that, then yes, the issue of black men and black women who have kids together not being together, that becomes the conversation. But when that becomes the conversation, they try to frame it like roly poly over there, and try to say that you know, that it's men just walking out on kids. But is it really? Is it really? Who's ending those relationships? When that relationship ends and they're not together, that child is born and they're not married, who legally owns the kid? Who has to take legal action against the other one in order to get legal rights to the kid? Who has to do that? It's like, come on.
8%, but don't quote me. But it was in the 70s.
On TikTok?
Yeah, it was on TikTok. But like, it was.
I gotta leave. I have to clock out because this is.
They're mocking where he got his information from, even though they're the same ones that accepted that very shaky information that was written down on a napkin about them being the most educated. Like, come on, cut it out. Those stats were conjured up. Somebody wrote it on the back of a pizza box and took a picture of it and posted it online, and they did a black girl magic party for a decade over some inaccurate stats. So they don't get to clown him for about his sources. You're right. Right, Jake Zero. They live on social media. They live there. Shout out to everybody in the building. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second.
Hold up.
Something had to check something. All right. All right. All right. All right. Let's go. Let's go.
Crazy.
It was an article that was posted on TikTok, but then, but what ended up happening is when you look at it and you do more research, you'll actually see how, like, especially black men, like, first of all, black men are the #1 fathers when it comes to parenting across the board. We change more diapers than all the other ethnicities. We are there more than all the other ethnicities.
I do kind of believe that. I think when black men and black women are together and they have kids, I'm willing to. I would venture to say that black men probably do be changing a lot of diapers. I mean, I was a professional diaper changer when I was married. I ain't had no issue with it. I got real fast, quick, and efficient. I change a diaper with one hand. Little shit probably slipped out and got on the sheet a little bit. But that's not a big deal. I could change that thing with one hand. Anyway, made a mess every now and then, but the job got done.
Cities in America, I'm speaking about. And we are more present with our kids than any other ethnicity in America. You could do the research right now and you can let me know what you come back with.
I'm gonna do it.
But instead of running off what people have said and start running off what we heard 10, 20, 30 years ago, we should actually start to understand that the world is changing, times are changing. So I don't fully.
Hold on, Tiny Boss. That's a funny name, Tiny Boss. What you talking about right there? You said my brother. Oh, you talking about your actual brother? Okay, I thought in my mind I thought Sir Tyson in the building. What's up? What's going on? You hit me up. I meant to hit you back, and that was a while ago. My bad. I was like at the start of the new year. Tell y'all I got issues. I'll be forgetting to respond to people. I got that problem with everybody. But shout out to Sir Tice. But Tiny Boss in the building says my brother is with an Asian woman. He's changing more diapers than his wife because she said so. Why he letting a little bit of Asian woman, little bitty Asian woman punk him? Huh? If you want to change diapers, then you can change diapers. But is it, because she said so? Well, she just checking him. She throwing, hot fried rice at him. They don't splash grits on their man over there. They make some good fried rice and shake it up in what are those things called? I know RM would know. I think ain't it called like a wok? Those big pot, those real deep, those real deep pots that they, she get that fried rice, got the eye turned all the way up in the wok, and then splash that shit on them. There you go. Somebody knew. It's a wok. Okay, yeah. Okay, I'm right. Okay, it's a wok. She told me I was right in the private chat. Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, they get to frying that rice in the wok. they ain't splashing hot grits, well, not the Asian women. They got that fried rice in a wok, splashing it on. That's probably worse. That rice get hot enough, you can't wipe it off like the grits. That hot rice, like a good one, it just stick. You gotta scrape each individual one of them. you gotta scrape off that fried rice when it gets splashed on you. That fried rice might be deadlier than the grits. She over there splashing fried rice on your brother, man. That ain't right. You got to change them damn diapers.
Align with that. Like, are there people out there who has 6 kids, 4 baby mamas? Yes. I don't know them. I know somebody who might got 3 kids with 2 baby mamas. That is something.
Isn't that a similar ratio?
I mean, it's
the ratio.
the ratio, but the amount is different.
Yeah, but the ratio is what makes them equal.
No, it doesn't,
Yes, it
because
does.
6 kids.
Isn't your mother a teacher?
6 kids and 3 kids are not the same. In
1/3
in
equals
real life.
1/3 and 1/3.
In real life.
All right, I'm with him on this one. Even though that ratio is the same, having 6 kids and 3 baby mamas is worse than having what was the other? Okay, now I'm messing. Whatever it was, the less kids and less baby mamas is better than the other one, even if the ratio the same. Like by that logic, if you got a 1-to-3 ratio with baby mamas and kids, but you got 33 baby mamas, you can't say the ratio the same. If you you can't say the ratio is the same. That's just not how it works. And I don't even know if her math right. But it don't matter.
Because
does.
6 kids
Isn't your mother a teacher?
6 kids and 3 kids are not the same. And
1/3.
Fully aligned with that. Like, are there people out there who have 6 kids, 4 baby mamas? Yes. I don't know them. I know somebody who might got 3 kids with 2 baby mamas. Off what we heard 10, 20, 30 years ago, we should actually start to understand that the world is changing, times are changing. So I don't fully align with that. Like, are there people out there who have 6 kids, 4 baby mamas? Yes. I don't know them. I know somebody who might got 3 kids with 2 baby mamas. That is something.
3 kids and 2 baby mamas versus 4 kids and 6 baby mamas. Is that, help me out? I'm tripping. Is that ratio even the same? I don't even. Okay, I give up. I'll give up. Having 2 cars and 4 drivers is way different than having 4 cars and 8 drivers. Okay, if y'all say the ratio is right, then fine. I'll go with that. But either way it go, it ain't about ratios. Quantity matters. I'm talking about creating human beings.
Isn't that a similar ratio?
I mean,
say,
it's
the
the ratio, but the amount is still
But,
different.
but the ratio is what makes them equal.
No, it doesn't,
Yes, it
because
does.
6
Not
kids.
Isn't your mother a teacher?
6 kids and 3 kids are not the same. In
1/3
in
equals
real
1/3
life,
and 1/3.
in real life, a kid is
Not
not
how
a
it
number.
works.
A kid is not a
Not
stat.
how it works.
Yes, it is.
Not how it works. It's a
So,
ratio.
But the thing is this: I had a daughter, right?
Right.
I was
Like
dealing.
we said,
Listen,
you are a small
listen.
percentage.
I was dealing with some shit. I didn't even know what postpartum was until I had a
That's
child.
why it was easy to walk out if you don't know.
But thank you. So what I'm trying to say is,
There you go, GC. I think GC about to help us out with the quick maths. There you go. There go the link.
is if you're not explaining something to a man who has no idea what the hell postpartum is, it's like, I'm not understanding what you're going through. So like, you have to be able to communicate that.
You don't even know.
But you
See, part of the reason why he's accepting the premise on them stating that women raising kids by themselves is because the man walked out on his family. The reason he's accepting that premise without challenging it at all is because he just admitted that he was one of the ones who just left. He ended it. Like I say, I would argue in most cases, it'd be the woman that ended. Well, we got GC up here who wants to speak on this one. What's going on? What's up? What's going on? You came here to correct the quick maths?
Yeah, because she's right and she's wrong. And it's spectacular how insightful her math is about her character. And I'm going to explain that. Because she is right. 4 baby mamas and 6 kids is for every 2 mamas, there's 3 kids. That is a true statement. However, so that ratio is the same as 2 to 3 or 2 baby mamas and 3 kids. However,
wait, how is it? Okay, hold back up. What was the first set of numbers?
The first set of numbers was 4 and 6. And the second set of numbers,
4 baby mamas, 6 kids.
Right. And the second set of numbers was 2 baby mamas and 3 kids. So it's all 66%.
Okay, all right. So yeah, it's 66% either way. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay, so but my biggest problem with that is, so by that logic, like, okay, so if somebody had 10 baby mamas, how many kids would they have to have in order to have that same ratio going on?
If they were to have 10 baby mamas, I guess they would have to have like not 20, but like 15. Yeah.
15? No, not 15 kids.
Yeah, 15 kids.
Oh, in order for that to work out the same way. Okay, 12 kids would basically be like 8 baby mamas to use math in the same, because like 2 and 3, 2 and 3, 4. Okay, all right. So yeah, so all right. So all right, now all right,
So,
we got it.
Well, no. There's something else. I gotta go after this, but
Oh no,
there's something
I
else very
wasn't.
important.
Yeah, no, I wasn't saying that we done. Well, go ahead and do say whatever you got to say.
Well, this is, and Jackie is right when she says this. This is 304 math. Because she's seen that, but she didn't really seen that it's a complete difference in the ratio of mother to father. See, that's where there's an extreme difference, because in the first scenario, you have 1 man to 4 women, which is 25%. In the second scenario, the one that he described, it's 1 man to 2 women, which is 50%. It's a complete difference that she overlooked. And she overlooked that because she don't really see a difference in sharing men. And that's how little they value men. So it's insightful that she was like, oh, it's the same thing. It's not the same thing, because we're talking about, a man's time, attention, money, resources, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, is not divided the same way in a scenario that she gave, because of the ratio from men to women. She don't see that, 1, because she's kind of stupid, and 2, because she don't really see an overall value of men. She just sees like, it doesn't matter if it's 1 to 4 or 1 to 2. I'm going to get that government check anyway. And she wore that outfit. So, yeah.
Well, no. See, the biggest problem with all of that, understanding that this conversation was rooted in them complaining about the father not being in the home. So to not see a difference with an increase in the amount of baby mamas, as if the father could be in 3 or 4 or however many places at one time. So it's like, in a roundabout way, if you don't see nothing wrong with the number of baby mamas increasing, then how is it that they're even making an argument that the issue is that is fatherless homes? And that comes to like the crux of a lot of these conversations. The most famous, the most famous situation around these parts of YouTube is, the chick, we know who, bald eagle, some call her. Basically, some, black men deadbeats, they dusty, they don't take care of their kids, their father's not in the home, and then she say all of that stuff, but then became baby mama number 5, and it's like, whoa, hold on. You really got an issue with the dad not being there if you went and got knocked up by somebody who, unless he can split himself in fives and be in 5 places at one time, it's impossible for him to be there. So it's like, so yeah, that's the biggest flaw and wrong there. But go ahead.
No, it's just telling how she didn't value men, and he, as a man, when faced with the same numbers, and he said no, they are not. He probably was looking at the man to woman, at the father to mother ratio. Like, no, that's not the same. Because so he is right in that regard. They're looking at 2 different things, and that's because him as a man, he values himself, and he understands that he would do better in one situation than another.
Right. Shout out to Sir Ties in the building. He says specifically they took being most enrolled for being most educated. Yeah, that was the genesis of all of that. But shout out to you, Sir Ties. Appreciate you.
Well,
appreciate go ahead.
And this goes back to the cuts, because people who are advocates of cuts, what they don't realize is that the very last thing that they want to do is suck your penis. And I'm talking about the cut man in particular. The very last thing that they want to do is suck his penis. So that being the case, when they came with cuts, and Bill Clinton, he came with the original cuts, the largest cuts for welfare, they didn't suck his penis, obviously. What they did do was they enrolled in school at record numbers to avoid saying, to actually avoid sucking his penis. Now, what the stats don't tell you is that they're comparing other groups of women. They're comparing the other groups of women who are in college between 18 and let's say 24 with their women who are in college anywhere between 18 and 81. Like, because what happened was a lot of women went back to college after the cuts. They like, oh, okay, I'm 52 years old. Let me go back and get my degree. So,
well, and also wait, hold on. One little small part that's related to that. It wasn't that it was just cuts, so they went to school. It was cuts, but it almost wasn't cuts because they were incentivized in a different way. It was they cut a lot of the welfare and incentives and all of that stuff, but they said you can stay on it if you're enrolled into school. Then they became the most enrolled.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a small but very important detail that they became the most enrolled because they could stay on the assistance if they enrolled. So there.
Exactly. So
it wasn't just to avoid. So it wasn't just to avoid having to suck a penis.
No, to suck his penis. And yes, it was. They were still holding on. They basically found each and every single loophole and thread and other option and opportunity to suck to not suck his penis. So no matter how cold winter is, they're not gonna suck your penis. Like, that's it. You dip it in brown sugar for the rest of your life. That is what you are relegated to.
Okay, we're come on, man. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Oh no, I don't mean to do it to you. I'm just saying, like,
man.
like for those of you who think that one day winter is gonna come and you're gonna turn into a porn star, don't. Why are you praying for a depression of millions of people so you can get your willy wet? Come on now.
Yeah.
Don't be that dude.
But no, but to that argument, the whole, I think that was that was a flaw in the argument. It's a good argument made in there, but not in the when cuts happen, I'm gonna be able to get my junk wet. It was just
exactly
more
what it's about.
Okay, for some of us, it wasn't about that. It was about all of the effery that we see from women. When we go back to the source of that effery, it's a high correlation with when they start subsidizing and incentivizing aspects of the effery. So it's like, on one hand, you can't call out all the effery and then still, support or be in favor or vote in favor of the things that incentivize it, because those are the things that basically caused, that were rooted in everything that we see happening today with the black community, where the women are acting one way and the men acting one way, and black men and black women separate. It's like you can't complain about that, but then still, be in favor of and support. So it's almost like you gotta be against it just at a macro standpoint. But you getting your dick wet, that's your personal individual problem, regardless of how bumpy the terrain is out there.
But that's my point, Bernard. Like, a lot of people come to the space and they turn their personal and individual prom stories into a call to action for all other men who actually have prom dates. That's what I mean. Like, we have to say, like, listen, it's fine to address the social standpoint, but if the end result is you bending somebody over their couch, that's a you thing. No, why am I speaking?
I understand what you're saying. I don't like that. You're taking shots at somebody and with no doubt it has to be a dark time for them. But overall,
it's bad timing. It's bad timing.
Yeah,
but to
but
be
the
fair,
overall
I do this on good timing. Like, it just so happens to be that this just so happens to be that day, and this just so happens to be that subject. But I've always been against this. So even when Kevin Samuels was saying it, I've always been against this whole winter is coming thing. Like, why are you waiting for extreme poverty so you could bend a bitch over the couch? That's sick.
That wasn't Kevin
Like,
Samuels.
I don't go to the homeless and be like,
that wasn't Kevin Samuels.
No, he don't say that, but he just said winter is coming. Yeah.
He did say winter was coming, and I I liked it as a slogan. It was fun, but I made it clear I didn't think winter was coming. They no pun intended. They're too big to fail. They're not gonna just have women outside in the cold in the streets in this country. They're going to figure out a way. They're going to find the money. They'll figure out a way to make sure that women are okay. So
exactly.
I always say
people in
it's
the
never
chat
going to
room,
come.
And to the people in the chat room who like winter is here, it's like, okay, but what are they doing? Like, I mean, are they bowing down, or are they just like in the house more submissive, or are they out scamming harder? Are they out falsely accusing, harder and stuff? Like, are they getting better or worse?
Yeah. It may
They're
be,
gonna
yeah.
fight this tooth and vagina. Like they are going to fight this.
And I do think it's also true that, I mean, two things will can happen. They may find, if it really get that bad for them, they may find a dude who, they may find a sucker who they don't really care about, who they could temporarily, shack up with until they get they come up and then they out of there. But it's a lot of women. It's a lot of women will more sooner click up and live together than before they turn back into a reputable woman because of hard times.
Exactly.
I know that, and I've seen that. Like a chick that I actually used to mess with. No, actually, long time ago. This was like 4 years ago. I floated this content to you. I floated the content to you because I saw that this chick I knew posted something on a chick I used to actually mess with, posted something on Facebook about single mothers like living together, like basically, I don't know. She was just promoting it was like a website that was designed for single mothers where they could like connect and meet, and if they need to come together, live together, and split bills together and help each other babysit and just be basically in a communal combine type of situation together. And I was just sitting there looking at that like, God damn, they really don't want to have to suck a dick. I mean, they still sucking dicks, but they don't want to have to do it through circumstance.
Exactly.
they like to suck a dick by choice, not because they had to.
Exactly. They would rather live in slave quarters underneath Idris Elba's home before they do that crap. Like, I mean, they like packed in like the old timey ships. They would rather do that crap. Like, come on now. Stop having like wet dreams of poverty. Don't do that.
A poverty wet dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't do that. I don't go out and see a homeless chick, and say, want some penis? Like, I don't do crap like that.
Yeah. Even though I am of the view that it's a reason why you don't see women holding up "will work for food" signs. You just
exactly.
You very rarely see that. they so yeah, so it is a thing that a woman will get, snatched up off the street temporarily, albeit, but they will get snatched up quick. They holding that "will work for food" sign. There's something else that I think she already knows she could do for food, and actually she don't even get to the point of doing that, holding the sign. She knows somewhere she can go temporarily till she get stuff figured out, if it come down to it. But
true.
But anyway, Christian Hutchins in the building. He says, shout out, the man's time is spread out among the kids. He's talking about the baby daddy to baby mama ratio, which is just crazy.
Well, and then there's also the father to children ratio that she conveniently overlooked, because she overlooked every stat that included the father, because one is 1 to 6 and the other is 1 to 3. So, but it's all the same to her because she's already in her mind like no father. So you see how that's going?
Yeah. It's funny. All right, yeah, I don't even like to talk about this. It's shit, how do I even explain this? It is some chicks going that's falling on. Somebody's talking about most evicted. What did you say? Black women are the most evicted.
Oh yeah,
I do think that's a thing. I mean, that well, it is statistically a thing, and I think some of that like ended up at my doorstep, but I didn't let it stay on my doorstep long enough to find out. But a chick I used to know popped up out of nowhere.
Evicted in Michigan.
I'm sorry, what?
How y'all get evicted in Michigan? Like,
What do you think? Because the prices of rent is low in some of these places?
And some of the places I looked at the state for like investment property. It's like playing Monopoly. Like, so you telling me that that even with that, I mean, what is y'all rent like $200 or something like that? Like, how are they still getting evicted? I know
It
you're
has,
an owner. I'm just saying, how do they still get evicted?
wages are not as high.
You can recycle cans here and still pay the rent there. What I mean, do is there a cap on how much you can recycle? How do they not have it?
Okay, I don't know.
I'm complaining because I pay high rent and gas is out the ass here. So
All I know is that it be okay. Things have changed. Jobs are starting to pay more out here because inflation is hitting and all of that. So wages are starting to go up. But it was times here where, like where I live, which is like an hour and a half away from Detroit, like it was some automotive plants in Detroit that would pay, anywhere from $24 to $30 an hour. Where in my city doing similar work, you was liable to start out at 12 and max out at 18. It's like it's just different in some places, and it's hard to explain it. I haven't paid rent in a long time because I've owned my house since my house, paid off since holy shit, a decade, 2014.
mhm.
God damn. So I haven't paid rent in a long time. So I don't even know what rent prices look like. But I know I've seen people paying, this was probably 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I've seen somebody in a 3-bedroom house paying $900.
Mhm.
Like, actually it was less, but she had somebody was paying 600, but she did have a really sweet deal that I don't think that was the norm. I think the norm was probably about 850, maybe 9. Like that was a thing. Like that was a very, very common thing.
Come
And
to
that's
Cali
probably
with 850 and see what you get. This is yeah. I'm saying like pay it. Like they got a good thing. You pay it. Like and you say like $12 an hour. Even with $12 an hour, you could pay what is it, $800? You could pay $800 on $12 an hour.
holy shit. Yeah, now that I think about it, I remember somebody was in a it was actually the winter is came chick that knocked on my door and was turned away.
Yeah, you remember you told me that story.
Yeah, this person I did get evicted and her rent was like less than $500.
What is wrong with and it's people here in Cali who got like $75 rent because they're on Section 8. Because I had a friend that rented to places. He had like a group home for girls that was pretty steady, but he had like regular people that did not pay $75 in
Oh,
Fresno.
that's craziness.
They are crazy. Like, what do they do?
Yeah, I mean, I
Like
can speak to
recycle cans and bottles.
I can say this. I know that it was a job that started out at, I believe, $14 an hour at an automotive plant, and when they were hiring, it was a line wrapped around the building for $14 an hour. Like grown ass men with work experience to start out at 14 and work their way up to about 20 in a few years.
At 14, you could pay. At 14, you can pay 800. If my numbers is right.
And that's why I think rent was 800 around here. Now I think it's higher, but I don't know. I haven't been out in the market, but I think it's higher. But yeah, and that's why when we have these weird conversations where people be talking about, $60,000 a year ain't nothing, and you can't take care of a family off $70,000 a year, and blah blah blah. I'd be like, what the hell y'all talking about? But I had to pump the brakes because I understand that it's different parts of the country that might as well be different countries in terms of wages, cost of living, and all of that. But when they be talking about the average man making the median being 50,000 or the average being 40,000 or whatever they are, yeah, I could run math on that, around here and be like, yeah, you can make it off that, around here.
Yeah.
But but I realized why everybody in these conversations was talking past each other because it's different depending on where you live, and that's why I just
Well,
tapped
the
out of
Fresh
those
and Fit chicks
conversations.
are Miami, and I don't know how much that is.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's high in Miami,
Yeah.
even though
Actually, rents are falling in Miami.
What'd you say?
Rents are falling in Miami, but that's neither here or there. The rents are all that anyway. I could have a whole dissertation on all this nonsense that goes on. But I came up because you guys are talking about stuff that I care about and do. So sorry I jumped on the thing. So game changer. You want to know how people do not afford? So you have to think about the income. Yeah. So you have to understand the income profiles in the job in the worker profile of somebody who pays $800 a month in rent. Okay, that's the first thing you have to understand. You have to understand what their education level is, their skill level is, and basically their life motivations and things of that nature. So first things first, how does someone get evicted? In Michigan? They might be one of my tenants. That's how they get evicted. That's first thing. Second thing is what when it comes down to it. Yes, say we use the example of $1,000 a month in rent, right? So this is where people having unpaired households, particularly unmarried households, or there's no both parents are not in the home. Okay, this is where this rears its head. It really comes down to it, because yes, to afford $1,000 a month in rent.
Real quick, just shout out to D-Rock Dan. Just hit the cash app. Shout out to D-Rock Dan. Do appreciate you. All right, go ahead, Chris. You got it.
In theory, to afford $1,000 a month rent or mortgage payment, you're talking about you need to make about $3,300 a month. And you're saying, and yes, to any person sitting around and thinking about this objectively, how can somebody not make $3,300 a month, right? Because that's we're talking about $36,000 a year.
$16. That's about $15-$16 an hour for the people.
No, $15 an hour is 30. It's like 30. It's 80 hours, so it's like 32 and some change or something like that. I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, that's why I say 33. Let's not
be pedantic. Wait, hold on. You said how can somebody not make 3,300 and you ran with 16?
Oh, I thought you said 33,000 a year.
Oh, okay. No, you said 3,300 a month.
My bad.
So $16 an hour times 40. That's 640 times 52 weeks in a year. That comes out to 33,000. Divide that by 12 months, and that comes out to 2,700. So so right there, 2,700 a month. I see perfectly and easily how a lot of people can't make that, because it was a good time around here where I lived. A lot of jobs did not pay more than $16 an hour. Now things have changed, because now you can, if you get hired at like Sam's Club, I think start you out at 15 or 16. So things have changed now. So now that's kind of becoming a thing. But a lot of places, no. Like people, if you had an entry level type job that didn't take any experience, you $10 an hour. The job
But Bernard,
you're talking 3-bedroom places too. Like how much is the efficiencies?
No. All right, let's get down to it here. Okay. When people talk about the eviction concept, they're not talking about a 25 or 45-year-old person who lives by themselves and they can live in an efficiency or a 1-bedroom apartment that's minimal amount of money. Okay, we're not talking about that. We're talking about families, either mother with children, a father with children, or 2 adults with children being on the street and the effects that it creates because of housing insecurity and stability. That's what they're really talking about. No one cares that the 28-year-old chick or 28-year-old man who makes $38,000 a year can't make his $1,100 a month mortgage payment. Look, he's going to end up on his friend's couch or something like that, and he's going to be back up in 6 months or a year. And no, they're not going to tap the social safety net. This is not the problem, okay? Mm-hmm. That's the first. We need to frame this conversation correctly. We're talking about people with minor children who become homeless or are evicted, and the first thing that's going to happen is they're going to access the social safety net for services that the taxpayer has to pay for. That is what the conversation actually is, okay? So that's the first thing. Next thing, the reason why these numbers are the way they are is because you do not have two earners in the household. And in most places, when you start talking about 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom housing, you have families. That's who drives those incomes. Okay. That's just what it comes down to. If you were to pull census data on this, that's who makes up these that's what makes up those households. Okay. Because two people don't need, if there's two people in the household, like just a husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, you guys can live in a 1-bedroom apartment if you have to, right? If it's even a child and the child is under 8-10 years old, they can share a bedroom with the parent. I can say this confidently because my kids, when they were born, lived in the room with me and my wife. Now, I will admit our bedrooms were very large.
Wait. What's the broom?
Bedroom. It's a bedroom.
Oh, I thought you said they lived in the broom. Okay, my bad.
Wait, hold on. Did you say broom or bedroom?
I said bedroom.
You heard broom too.
I heard broom, and I was sitting there trying to think, is that a thing?
Yeah, I thought it was a local thing. Like, oh, they live in a broom. I thought it was a neighborhood, or I didn't know what.
Okay, no, it's a bedroom. Yeah, so you can.
So how did y'all ever make any more kids if the kids was in the? Never mind.
But okay, instead of us having to walk across the house all the way to their room, they just slept in the room with us. And I will admit our bedrooms are fairly large. Okay, so I understand that it's not the same for some people. Okay, so I will say that. All right. So what ends up happening is when you start talking about the people are being evicted, they're going to access the social safety net. Okay, and there's all these other issues because once the person's evicted and they have children, now where they go to school is affected. With their familial ties in terms of with their friends and their extended network is affected, and that causes other problems. There's loss in continuity and learning, which look, if a kid is changing where they live constantly, they can't have continuity and learning, which means they're going to have learning gap issues, which means that now they're going to affect in 5 to 10, 20 years the amount of money they're able to produce in the future. So that is what the real conversation is when we talk about the eviction crisis. So yeah, we can sit here and laugh about it because ha 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 ha. But the thing is, just think about it. When these people are getting evicted, what is the results of that in 10 years? I'm not saying they shouldn't be evicted, okay? Because you pay what you owe, okay? But there is a effect that we have to deal with and we have to realize. And so we know Game Changer, we were saying, how does this happen? Because of if you're talking about someone who only makes $14 or $15 an hour, they are low skilled, they are low wage, and most likely they live in an area with not a ton of economic opportunity. So Bernard's up in the, up I-75 in the certain region of Michigan. Mm-hmm. So the pricing is lower than down here in Metro Detroit. It's not that much lower, right? But what will happen is if a automotive supplier who makes roofs closes down and they're paying $16 an hour in his area, they can find decent, clean housing. Okay. There is not another employer who's just there to all of a sudden absorb 700 people who became out of work overnight. That is what the issue is. And that's the issue in a lot of mid and small sized cities detached from major metro areas. That's what the challenge is. When you get in a place when you get in an area like Metro Detroit, what the argument becomes there is that, oh, there's no housing. Yeah, there is, because I have rental properties that are 3 bedrooms, okay, and they're in decent areas. There's nothing wrong with I just sent Ed I'm selling one of my places right now. And he was like, oh, this is a nice place or whatever. But guess what? It's in a place that most people want to live. But what happens is when you start having these conversations on social media, it's not a place that you would dream that no one's going to jump online or social media, but, oh, yeah, we live here. But it's a good school district. Huh?
No, I was just joking. I was saying we live in the brooms.
Yeah, it would be, it's just it is a middle class to lower, it is a middle class suburb but it's on the lower end of a middle class suburb. It's just a generic home that was built in 1950. It doesn't have, state of the art, amenities. It's just a house with some wood floors and some appliances and some countertops. That's all it is. It does not look like.
You've answered my question. Because what I did was I drastically, because when I went online, I seen like $75,000 homes. So I assumed that the rents would be lower than what they were, for a standard, maybe like 3-bedroom, for a nice size single family home. I assume that's why I was like, $500 was my question. But if it's $1,000,
that used to be a thing. But
yeah, if it's $1,000, it seems like at any wage, even like $15 an hour, that's doable. But I also wasn't aware that that job, low wages is one problem, but even with low wages, you can still pay. But if joblessness is a problem, then I could see that happening. But the second part of my question, Christensen, is the people that are in the safety net. Here, when you're in the safety net, you only have to pay like 10% of what the rent is, which, can be, or even less than that, which can be extremely low. I'm talking about double digits, maybe triple, like anywhere between like 50 to 250 bucks. What's up? And I think minimum wage here is turning into like 20 bucks an hour. So what's up with that?
Look at California's tax rate though. Like Michigan, our income taxes are only 4.25%. There in California, it's like 10.25%. See the difference?
Well, I do now, and I will be buying property in Michigan. And since I work from home, that's where I will live. On paper,
no, you won't.
Live in
No, you won't live out here.
According to my job, I will be living out there, and paying 4.25%.
Okay, I just want to let you know that Michigan is usually ranked in like the top 3 of the fattest states in the country.
No, I would actually buy an efficiency and just get mail there. And I'm still living here. I no.
Oh, gotcha.
On purpose. No,
gotcha.
Tax fraud.
You ain't.
Yeah, something like that. Exactly like that. Yes.
Yeah, you ain't ready for that out here. Chicks, they go in for the winter. They go in for the winter. They come out 15 pounds heavier. It's brutal.
Yeah, I seen that. They were looking like snowmen. I was doing a show on squatters. So y'all got people squatting, and they just squatting in y'all stuff.
Well, I think that's more of a Detroit thing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't think that's a thing. I mean, that ain't a thing in my city, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's a squatting problem.
Hold
on, before you jump in, Christian, shout out to Snuggles in the building. Appreciate it.
Hi, I'm Snuggly.
All right, shout out to you. Appreciate it. Okay.
But no, after in the squatting video, they had the person that was squatting, and like all the women in the background were fat as hell. I was like, is that a good sample population? So it's just like that?
I didn't see the image that you're talking about. I just know it'd be some long and cold winters out here, and yeah, they come out of hibernation looking like different, creatures. But all right. Oh, what you was about to say, Christian? You was about to say something.
He was accusing me of tax fraud.
No. The squatting thing that happens particularly in Metro Detroit, and it's concentrated in Detroit. What typically happens is people will get a place to stay, and then they'll pay 1 or 2, 3 months rent, or they might be paying rent for years, and then they have a job loss, and because of, again, economic conditions, they will not pay, but then it's exacerbated by the local government because of their unwillingness to enforce property rights because let's put it like this, there are bad actor landlords out here. So I'm not going to say there isn't, but what ends up happening is they will take this bad actor landlord that everyone knows he's a land speculator, because this guy lives around the corner from me. I know who he is. Everyone in Metro Detroit knows who this guy is.
What is a land speculator? You said land speculator?
Yeah.
What is that?
basically what they do is they just buy real estate with basically no intention of improving the property. Their goal is just to extract as most money as possible using whatever method they can use. So if that means that they're going to buy the land and there's a house on it, what they'll say is, okay, how much can I get for? I just bought this property I just bought this in a auction, or I got a hold of some bundle. I bought this parcel of land for just say $8,000, right? I'm just giving you an example of what like this particular person did. Well, what they could do is they could go paint the property, right? They go paint it, fix the porch, do all that, and that might run them 20 grand. And they're like, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to let the property deteriorate some more. And what will happen is it might run down all the property values. Now people are going to set up. They're going to run drugs out the property. I don't care. I don't live there. There's the water's going to start coming in. There's going to be other crimes committed on the property. Eventually, the property will get burned down. And now instead of them paying to have the property cleared with the bulldozer, and that would have ran them, $12,000. Now the property gets burned up and the property is gone. And then what they'll do is they'll go and sell the property for a profit. They'll go sell it for $20,000. So they didn't do anything. They spent $8,000. They got $20,000. They made $12,000. It only took them 2 years to do it.
It sounds like you just said they buy a property for $8,000, but they could sell it for $20,000 after it's burnt down. How did that work?
Yeah.
How's it worth more burnt down?
Because
this is America.
Because it's just empty land at that point, raw land. Because you have to think about it, that the structure itself is actually a liability, right? It's an improvement. The value in real estate is always the land itself.
Gotcha. So just letting it go to hell and then get burned down and then cleared out, and then now it's worth more than what it was when it was a shaky safety hazard structure standing up there.
Yeah, and then if you buy it strategically enough, like for instance, they expanded the Chrysler plant over off of Jefferson. This particular person, they were able to acquire a bunch of parcels around the plant over the course of like 10, 15 years. I don't know if he had like the fix was in, like he knew inside information, but he acquired a bunch of stuff. And then what happened was Chrysler wanted to, when President Trump was in, and he did a lot of things to incentivize manufacturers to manufacture here in the United States, right? So think about it. I go buy up a bunch of land around a automotive plant. And then what I do is I go to, I get a politician or presidential candidate or whoever, or a regulator who incentivizes manufacturing within the United States. And then, so I might pay them lobbying money, this, and this. They write a couple tax laws to make that happen, like through opportunity funds, right? You get where I'm going with this? And then what turns around and happens is the multinational corporation says, hey, we're going to build a new plant and we're going to employ 1,500 people at this new plant. Everyone cheers, yay, 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 yay. Well, it's not only a good day for those 1,500 people, it's a good day for me too, because I own 25 parcels around the plant that they're going to expand it, and I get to hold Chrysler Corporation hostage for 3 years and tell them, hey, if you want to get your tax break from President Trump that he cooked into the goodies, you got to cut me my check first. This actually happened, just to let you know. Like, this literally happened.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So, and that's where the squatters come in. They basically just squat in the rotting apartment or the rotting house until.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a land speculator. I don't care. I'm a land speculator. I don't care, because at this point, I'm trying to extract the most value as possible. And if I've assessed now, yes, say some people bought properties. Like when I bought my one property that I turned into a rental, people were kind of doing that there because it was right near downtown Detroit. And people looked at it, well, like the land is worth more than the structures. Well, what happened was when the Pistons built their stadium and they built a light rail line, a couple other things happened. Now the existing structures became more valuable, right? So all of a sudden now, so when I decided to renovate that property, it was kind of like, the land is probably worth more than the building. But I bought right before that stuff got announced. And so then what ended up happening was it was worth I got lucky in that regard, right? Because you couldn't make sense of renovating the structure because you would say, oh, the land is worth more than the structure. But once those deals came into play, then all of a sudden now the building is worth more, right? Now the land itself is worth a lot too, but it's because now the building is what produces the income. Because you have to remember, the land, it has the value, and the structure itself produces the income. So that could be a house, that could be a plant, that could be farmland itself. It depends on how that land gets monetized.
Hey Bernard, could you bring up the video I put in the back chat and bring it to the 4 minute and 51 seconds? You don't have to play it, just pause it.
Oh, I had actually just watched it from my. Yeah, no, I'm about to click on it again. I had watched it. I clicked on it and watched it for my own personal consumption.
Oh, yeah. Did you see that? That's twist. You see how twisted that was?
Well, no, I didn't listen to it. I just scrolled through it. I'm pulling it up now.
Basically, a L Gibbet just okay.
Oh no. Go ahead. I didn't notice anybody was gay.
No, the 4 minute and 51 second portion.
All right. Oh, y'all can't see it yet. I ain't got it up yet. So 4 minute and 51 second. Okay. All right. Give me 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Should be down there. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it go. All right. Let me get some volume.
Well, you don't have to play. I just want a still frame on that on 451.
It's at 409. I was just gonna let it roll into the. You said 451?
Yeah. 451.
Oh, 451? Oh, okay. No, I'm gonna skip to 449 then, or 445. Okay. All right.
And then pause it when 451 comes.
Hey, can you keep it down out of here? I'm trying to sleep.
So is that what you're talking about? Yeah. Is that what Michigan women look like?
Some of them, yeah.
Especially going home during the middle of the day, yeah.
They're not home. They were squatting. That's not their home.
No, if you're the people, for people who are outside of the middle of the day, I'd say this is pretty standard what someone would look like in Michigan.
Wow.
Well, that's not uncommon at all. That's not an uncommon size. Not an uncommon sized human around here.
Okay. Well, I guess you're a lucky dude, Bernard. You're a fit dude.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. But yeah. That's Michigan. That's Michigan. But all right. I forgot where we was at or what we was talking about or what was going on.
On the other show.
On what?
The rolls, the under titty and the rolls.
Oh yeah, well I'm through with that. I kind of said all I had to say with that. Okay. I was about to go in a little more and bring a few more related stories with that involving how they doing Gary Owens with his kids and how he had to basically sneak. He had to sneak to his daughter's graduation and hire a photographer to take pictures of her because it was
I seen that. Yeah.
Don't approach me or don't come near her or this or that or blah blah blah. It was sad. I was about to get into that and Tyrese child support situation. It was some stuff like that was sort of related to the main topic that I was going to get into. And but I'm past the threshold. I actually like the way where the conversation went. So I'm good. We can close it out right here. We can close it out right here with this. But so wait, before we get all the way out of here, hold on 1 second.
Welcome to Machismo TV, the ultimate destination for modern men seeking to upgrade their lifestyle. Subscribe to Machismo TV and Saul T-Balls. We stream daily from 12 midnight to 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, the best male-centric content. Highlight reels without reviewing or providing any editorial bias to the content. We have done so much, with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything, with nothing.
We've done so much with so little for so long, we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. Shout out to everybody in the building. Appreciate everybody supporting the stream. Appreciate each and every one of you. And with that said, ladies and gentlemen, we are out of here. Peace. We gone.